Welcome to Friday Night Heights and the Stephen C. O'Connell Center on the campus of the University of Florida for our live SEC ESPN coverage of women's. Visit the #1 Florida Gators. I'm Bart Connor, along with Kathy Johnson-Clark and Laura Rutledge. How good are these two teams? Well, either Alabama or Florida has won the last 5 NCAA championships, the last 7 SEC championships, and you can see incredible list of individual accomplishments as well. Kathy, this is as good as it gets in women's collegiate gymnastics.
When you consider their conference and NCAA titles, nothing compares to this rivalry, and it's somewhat of a dynastic synergy they've created. They don't necessarily work together, but rather push each other for conference bragging rights and perhaps an ultimate national championship. It's great for gymnastics, awesome for the SEC, and most important, so incredibly fantastic for these athletes.
And both of these teams, once again, have legitimate reasons to bid for another NCAA title this year. Florida, as the host team, will open up on the vault, and 3 of their 6 vaulters are 3 of the top 6 all-arounders in the country in Bridget Sloan, Kennedy Baker, and Alicia Boren. Our leadoff performer, senior Bridget Caquato out of Naperville, Illinois.
And Bridget's sometimes a little inconsistent with this vault, but when she's on and she really times the block off the table, she can get a big vault and then a good landing. Many of the athletes are doing this Yurchenko full. There's the full. Good landing. She started thinking about that landing just a little bit too soon. So the vault actually lacked a little bit of rotation, but clean in the air and a decent landing.
Quick update on the meet rules. There's 6 gymnasts for each team on each event, but the best 5 scores only count towards their team total after all 4 apparatus. The team with the highest cumulative score wins. The home team gets what we call the Olympic order: vault, bars, beam, and floor. The away team does the flip-flop of that: bars, vault, floor, and they have to finish on beam. So the Crimson Tide will open up on the bars with Keely McNear, the junior.
And Keely led off all last year. She's so comfortable in this position. Has a solid routine. Going for these handstands really well. You can tell she's aggressively going after the positions the judges are looking for, right on top of the bar in those handstands. They're looking for more sticks in this competition. There's a double layup, a little hot. This is the time of season where you really want to start zoning in on some of those fine points.
There is Coach Dana Duckworth. 21 years she's been involved with the program, but this is her 2nd season as the Alabama head coach. She took over for Sarah and David Patterson, who were there for more than 35 years, one of the most successful programs in collegiate history. Bridget Caquato, a 9.775, was a season high. Erica Fassbender.
Another Yurchenko full, so improved from last year. A much better position, a little cleaner on that twist. You can tell they're really concentrating on the landings. They're not quite getting the stick yet, but it's getting close.
There is Jenny Rowland, the new head coach here at the Florida Gators. Last 5 years, she was the associate head coach at Auburn, and prior to that, she was coaching in Oklahoma. So when Rhonda Fain, the former head coach here for 13 years, decided to move on to USA Gymnastics, Rowland got the call. A great opportunity for her. Angelina Giancroce, the freshman out of Aiken, South Carolina, will be next up. Alabama on the bars.
And this is a very elegant gymnast. You'll see her later in the competition on floor exercise, but she's even elegant on this event. Very long lines, good long swing.
She did her club training at Hayden's International Gymnastic Academy in North Carolina. Dan Hayden, former U.S. national team member, was her coach there.
And you can tell they were a stickler on forearm. Watch how tightly she squeezes the legs together. The toes are pointed.
They were very impressed in the first meet of the season. She almost came to a dead hang, but she really dug in and finished her routine cleanly.
Nice release move combination. The athletes are required to transition from bar to bar. She did nicely with that pack salto down to the low bar, showing difficulty in that transition. She also does a double layout, had to pipe down, probably a little bit too much, and caused her to end up over-rotating it and hop backwards.
Her teammate, by the way, Keely McNear, in the leadoff role, had a 9.75 for the visiting Crimson Tide.
She showed a little more difficulty in this skill down to the low bar. It's a pack salto. It's a nice laid out position. They're still trying to find that stick on the landing. Haven't quite found it yet.
Erica Fassbender had a 9.85, but that brings up Bridget Sloan, the it girl of the moment in women's collegiate gymnastics. She's done it all.
And will she or won't she do the 1.5? She went for the full. She warmed up the 1.5, and it actually looked good in warm-ups. I thought she had planned to do it. Then in 30-second touch, the final warm-up, she just looked a little bit unsure and decided to go with a full. She has a beautiful full, though. She does nice execution, gorgeous form in the air. So she's trying for no deductions. Oh, this is cool. Look at this. That's a great shot to just see the power coming into the vault.
And hopefully over the vault.
Yes, over us.
Lauren Beers, the senior out of Warren Center, Pennsylvania, the 6-time championship All-American and 3-time regular season All-American, has had an impressive career at Alabama, although she was a bit shaky and shaken up last week in their unusual loss at Arkansas, wasn't she?
Coach Duckworth calls her Mama Bear, and she takes everything so seriously, just the weight of the team on her shoulders, sometimes to the extreme where it hurts her, and trying to be too perfect and do too much for the team instead of do what you've done in practice. That's plenty.
Angelina Giancroce had a 9.825. That's a season high.
When she's on her rhythm on this event, she's really lovely. Beautiful transition to the low bar. Notice how easy and effortless it looks. Uneven bars should not show a use of strength to get through the skills. Here's a neat dismount, double front, blind landing. And what does she do?
Wow.
Nails it right into the floor. And that's a harder dismount to land and to stick. It's blind, you don't see the landing. You don't get to spot the floor, you gotta feel it. Just beautifully done. Little bit of cowboy, but keep in mind the judges are on the side. They may or may not. You see that? Wow, look at that.
You need to stick landings, especially when you're in an away meet. Alicia Boren, the freshman, comes up.
And she is a powerhouse. Here's a 1.5. Wow,
Oh!
that was phenomenal.
Look at her face.
Beautiful. That almost made me stand up. That was so well done. Beautiful amplitude. Look at the excitement.
She's coming off of 3 season high scores. Bridget Sloan before her had a 9.9.
She has set her up beautifully. That is sky high. Look at the bounce of the board. That is such a cool shot, and what a thrill for this young lady.
Look at that smile from the 4'11" freshman from Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. Did her club training at North Stars Gymnastics under Tony Gaiman. 4 times a junior Olympic national champion. So great to see her enjoying her collegiate experience. Her score just came in. It's a 9.95 for Alicia Boren. That's a season high. So all 4 Florida Gators have season high scores in their first 4 performances here on ball. Back to the bars. Lauren Beers had a 9.925. Kiana Winston up now.
Kiana has beautiful amplitude. Watch this release move right here, way up above the bar. She also does the pack salto, gorgeous form on that. She really kept her legs together. Oh no, that's a cover right there. She should have pirouetted and gone the other way. Covered it nicely. They'll take a little deduction just for the little hitch. And a tiny bit short on the handstand. Got her rhythm off to have to cover that skill, but she did it so well. Came up with a good dismount double layout. The funny thing is she actually did that in the warm-up, so I would have thought she would have gone little bit extra hard, but look at the amplitude, just absolutely gorgeous height above the bar. Dismount is a beautiful laid out position, legs locked together, and just a teeny hop.
Back to vault now, Kennedy Baker up 9.95. Once again was the score for Alicia Boren.
And another 1.5. I tell you what, sticks are contagious. It just runs through the team like a virus. That is so exciting for this team to build on each other. It's exactly the way competition should happen. They are showing such incredible technique and form on these vaults. And of course, this is one of the most difficult vaults in college gymnastics. I wouldn't call it a perfect landing. There are tiny, tiny deductions there, but she didn't move her feet.
Coach Rowland said she was hoping her gymnasts settle down a little bit and control their landings better on vault. Well done so far. 5 superb vaults for Florida here in the opening round. Final vaulter for them will be Alex McMurtry, but we go back to bars for their final performer. Kennedy Baker had a 9.95. This is Katie Bailey.
This is her release move. It's a little bit different than we've seen from her teammate. She does a Jaeger front as her big release. Oh, missed that connection. Doing great on the big things. Wow, showing off that handstand on top. And I love the way she does this dismount. Look at how high she is above the bar as she completes 2 somersaults and 1 twist.
Interesting test for the Crimson Tide. 2 routines have been slightly improvised here.
They're not major deductions. We know what the routine is supposed to be. Well, a little bit of waiver in that. That's a tiny deduction. They will add up. But this is the best part of the routine, and it is beautiful. Perfectly done.
Alex McMurtry, the final vaulter, and they already have a season-high score on vault even before she goes.
This is the best full in the country, and she just flared that out. She couldn't quite nail the landing. I know she wanted to. She expects that from herself.
Let's go on down to Laura Rutledge. She has more on Alex McMurtry.
Bart, when Alex is preparing for her vault, obviously there's so much pressure on her because everybody expects a great vault, but she said she feeds off the pressure. And before she goes, she tells herself, this is your event. Go out there and shine. She also, as she's running, when she feels the crowd, she says it gives her extra oomph. I think we saw it there.
Impressive opening rotation for the Florida Gators, a season high. The final performer for Alabama on the bars will be Mackenzie Brannon, the sophomore out of Austin, Texas. Katie Bailey before her had a 9.85. Kiana Winston before her had a 9.825. So
they only have 1 score that's gone into that 9.9 range. And there were just those little almost nervous mistakes we've seen so far on bars. Very smooth so far. Tiny bit short on that handstand to the low bar. See if she can come up with a stuck landing. That's making a big difference in the score. And it's the last thing the judges see. There it is.
nice.
Got a very, very good landing from their last performer.
All right, we're off to a great night of gymnastics here at the O-Dome in Gainesville, Florida. 2 of the historically great programs in women's gymnastics. Don't go away. It's Friday Night Heights from Gainesville, Florida. The first rotation is complete, and you can see the Florida Gators with a season high 49.5, off to a terrific start on the vault. There are their scores, career highs for Kennedy Baker and Alicia Boren. And Alabama was also impressive on the bars, career high for Mackenzie Brannon. And they are separated by less than 0.2 of a point here at the O-Dome. I'm Bart Connor, along with my fellow Olympic medalist, Kathy Johnson-Clark, and we've been talking about this matchup all year long. Excited about these two incredible teams, but there's a little extra drama tonight because Alabama's coming off a disappointment last week and a loss against Arkansas.
It was shocking. They really had a meltdown on the balance beam at home. That just never happens. They had 3 falls and had a sure win that they lost. So I would say there's an elephant in the room, and it's got its trunk wrapped around the beam, but no, they have attacked this head on. They went back to the gym, fixed the problem. I know they're anxious to get there and fix those problems right here.
Florida is 3-0 under first-year head coach Jenny Rowland, and they got off to a terrific start on vault already.
Absolutely. They are flying high, and I think everybody was surprised how strong they have begun this season because of the coaching change, and that really rattled them, took the wind out of their sails. Now the question is, do they have a plan from this point forward to get in that sharp condition that they were so that they can go after another national title?
All right, we'll be back with more. Florida goes to the bars, and Alabama will be on the vault when we come back.
Back here in the O-Dome, Florida on top of Alabama after rotation 1. I'm Laura Rutledge. And Bridget Sloan for Florida told me that coming into this season, she was a little worried about how excited she would be for each meet because she's already accomplished so much. But she said she learned early on that was not going to be a problem. She's still enjoying every single moment. She said she doesn't want to be one of those gymnasts that can't get over her sport when she's done. She said she's at peace with her gymnastics career in this final year. So she's in a great spot, and she's enjoying everything because she knows that she's already accomplished so much, but she still has that competitive fire. That's what's fueling her, and that's, of course, what's fueling this Florida team, Bart.
All right, thank you, Laura. Yes, Florida moves to the bars in the second rotation. Alabama will be on the vault, and you can see their lineup there. Typically, Alabama, one of the most powerful vaulting teams in the country. They are currently ranked 6th in a tie. The high score is a 49.4. Let's see what Keely McNear can do, the junior leadoff vaulter.
Very nice setup for that Yurchenko full. Notice how she stalled before she went into the twist, really looked for the landing. I sense that in the break, they really calmed this team down. I saw some nervous mistakes, minor ones, teeny tiny ones on bars, but they need to calm down and stay focused.
Sometimes it's easier to open up on vault where you have that nervous energy and you can just run it out. But bars is a little bit different, and let's see how Florida can handle the bars. And boy, they are the #1 team in the country on this event. Kennedy Baker, the sophomore from Flower Mound, Texas, will lead them off.
Opens with a beautiful release move. Solid handstand so far. What I really look for on the uneven bars is a good rhythm. Nice long swing. She sets up for the dismount. Double front. Oh, a little bit of a pogo stick there.
Nikki Guerrero will be next up for Alabama on the vault, a sophomore out of McKinney, Texas. She's currently ranked 4th in the country on vault. She can do the Yurchenko 1.5 twister as well. You think she'll go for it tonight?
Dana said this is a must-watch athlete. She is so talented. 1.5, beautiful landing, does not move her feet. Now, we talked about this last year, Bart. When an athlete lands with their feet that far apart, should they bring their heels together as they stand up to salute? We think they should. We'll see what it looks like from this angle. Slight knee bend as she blocked off the table. So there are some tiny deductions, but there's no way to get beyond the fact she did not move those feet on the landing.
Nice job for the sophomore. By the way, Keely McNear led them off with a 9.825. Alicia Boren, we saw her light up the O-Dome with her smile after her outstanding vault. Let's see what she can do on the bars. You see she's tied for 18th in the NCAA there.
She's very solid on this event. She's definitely a power strength gymnast. Wowing audiences with big gymnastics. So far, she's moving very well on this event. A little leg separation at the end of that kip. Kind of rushed into that last cast, a handstand. Had to take a step back, but the routine was solid as well as she can do it. They'll just take a little deduction for the step.
Jenna Brissett will be next up for Alabama, as you see Coach Dana Duckworth in the background. She's a freshman out of Kansas City. 9.85 was the score for her teammate Nikki Guerrero, who went for the more difficult vault but landed with her feet slightly apart.
Jenna does a Yurchenko full. Good distance, but kept that distance going a little too much and took a pretty big hop on the landing.
Okay, here's your chance to coach a little bit. What should she have done to set up that landing better?
Well, it's all about balancing the distance and the height, and that's set up right here as you take off and block that table. You got to block it straight up because the run and the round off takes you through the momentum, gives you the distance from the table.
Bianca Dancos Giambattista, the senior out of Montreal, will be up next. She competed in the World Championship for Canada back in 2010. The score for Alicia Boren was a 9.875, so pretty good start, but they haven't broken into the 9.9s yet.
This is an interesting routine. Most of the gymnasts now are doing a single bar release move. Changing the code of points is really pushed for that. She gets her difficulty in this combination right here.
Oh,
no,
my goodness.
No one could have expected that. Such an easy skill for her, who usually does it extremely well. Almost looked like, well, the release was too soon. Perhaps she slipped and just mistimed it.
Okay, she has 30 seconds to remount the exercise, and of course there's a deduction. Half a point for falling in collegiate gymnastics.
She's going to repeat it because she needs it for her difficulty and her start value. Good for her. Well, a very unexpected, uncharacteristic fall in this routine. Finished it strong, really strong. Good for her to come back, repeat the element, get the credit for it. So her start value will be good. This is a good time to mention, yes, they can drop one low score. Yeah, just mistimed the release, and boy, that's no fun. But came back so strong in the routine, repeated the missed element, and then nailed the landing.
Mackenzie Brannon will be next up for Alabama. The score for Jenna Brissett was a 9.825.
She's doing a 1.5 as well. More gymnasts are now opting to do the more difficult vault, get the benefit of it being scored from a 10.0. Remember that the vault was devalued, the full, down to a 9.95, so the 1.5 is worth a 10.
So it's one of those things that the gymnasts have to weigh the risks. For an additional half a tenth in start value, they risk a little scarier landing, don't they?
Absolutely. It's a blind landing and some more difficult vault. It's another half twist added on, but some gymnasts actually do it better than their full. The risk, of course, is the landing.
Bridget Kakwado has excelled on bars. You see her average 9.858. Now remember, 6 gymnasts from each team, the top 5 scores count. The score for Bianca Dancos Giambattista was a 9.375. So they'll need the next 3 routines hit to get a good team score for Florida here. Even though they have a lead, they could squander it.
And Bridgie has always done big gymnastics on the event, but she's really improved her form throughout her collegiate career. It's nice to see. Very, very strong on these handstand positions. Swinging aggressively. double layout, nice height. Still can't quite get that landing out of the double layout. She piked down a little too severely.
Dana Duckworth using a little unusual motivational techniques for her team just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I like that deal. Katie Bailey gets a 10, the whole team gets queso. All right, let's go home with our mild and moderate salsa dancing.
The whole team gets queso. How about the broadcast team?
Yeah.
I hope she gets a 10 too. All right, here she goes. Katie Bailey.
Oh, no. Yurchenko full twist, and I really think she was ahead of herself, thinking about the landing too soon. You got to blast that ball. And Bart, you ask, how do you set yourself up for landing? It's all about the shape in the air and getting enough height right here so you can see the landing for a while before you get there. She's a little short on rotation, landed with her chest down. So that's a deduction, and then, of course, the step is as well.
Bridget Sloan has done everything in women's collegiate gymnastics. See what she can do on the bars here. She scored a perfect 10 on all 4 apparatus in women's collegiate gymnastics.
This is an event where she can be spectacular. Her technique is so superior. Look at the handstand position, how perfectly straight and extended. She swings bars. No muscling through anything. Beautiful. Legs straight, toes pointed. She looks like she sucked up a straw in her handstand. It's exactly the position you want to see. And she is uncanny with landings. Usually, oh my! She hopped back a little bit.
Her teammate Kaquato had a 9.875. That's a season high for her this year. Once again, Florida is trying to replace that 9.375.
Handstand position is just so exquisite. There's no hike in the hips, no angles in the shoulder. And normally you can count on Bridget Sloan to stick a landing with her eyes closed. She couldn't quite pull that rabbit out of the hat here.
Final vaulter, Lauren Beers.
Wow, good for her. She threw the 1.5. She does that vault very well. She's a little forward on the table, so I wasn't sure if she was going to be able to get the amount of block she needed for the 1.5, but it was well done. Watch how forward she is on her hand placement, but she is like a cat in the air and knows exactly where that floor is.
Let's go down to Laura.
Bart, just before Lauren Beer's vault, she came up to Dana Duckworth and said, should I do the 1.5? Duckworth said, let me think about it. She walked away and she came back and she said, let's go for it, just have fun. This is what you're supposed to do out here. Just go and have fun. We're gonna go for it in this meet.
And a bar worker for Florida now, Alex McMurtry.
This is a new bar routine for her this year. Added that big release move. She's hitting those handstands, a little bit of a pike position in her handstands, and as she swings, but look at the landing there.
Now she's coming after the 9.9 from Bridget Sloan, and obviously 5 hit routines. They will replace the 9.375 from Bianca Denkos Giambattista, so expect a good team score for Florida here in the second rotation.
She is just so good at putting her body in position, in the air, to find that landing. Everything is in the perfect place to nail the feet into the mat.
Uneven bars rules changed this year, in part because of several gymnasts who are doing easier release moves. But that was a superb performance from Alex McMurtry, and Laura is down with Coach Duckworth.
Thanks, Dana. You said vault had some ups and downs. How would you describe what you saw from your gymnasts?
Well, you know what? We got to get a little more controlled landings, but we did get 3 1.5s in our lineup tonight, so that's a big step in the right direction. But you know what? We're here to fight all the way to the end, so we're going to go to floor and rock the house.
How do you continue to fight while also calming your gymnasts down? It seemed like they calmed down a little bit in that second rotation.
Well, I mean, the meet's moving really fast, and we needed to recover a little quicker, but I think that it's still learning every week, you know, and getting better at it. And so it's a matter of taking that kind of energy and upping it a little bit on floor.
Are we at mild, medium, or moderate salsa for floor?
Well, we're kind of in that medium, working toward hot.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Roll Tide.
All right, while that interview was going on, the score came in for Alex McMurtry. The O-Dome on their feet. Look at this, folks. With a clean routine and a perfect landing. After a 9-9 from her teammate Bridget Sloan, the stage was set. And folks, the first perfect 10 on the uneven bars in the NCAA this year. This one goes to Alex McMurtry. Wow, what a thrill in the second rotation. We are halfway through this gymnastics meet. High expectations here in Gainesville. Coming up, we'll follow the story of Ivy and Zach through swoon. Brought to you by Bell. Friday Night Heights. The O-Dome was just lit up, folks. Look at the scores. 98-9, 7-5 for the host Florida Gators. And Alabama on the vault, 98-5, 2-5. Here were their scores after Katie Bailey's slight stumble on the landing. A good score for Lauren Beers. A respectable score for the visiting Crimson Tide. But look at this. What a highlight tonight on the bars. After Bridget Sloan's 9-9, Alex McMurtry, who scored a 10 last year on the vault here at home, delivered her first perfect 10 on the bars with a new routine.
She happened to hit that release move so perfectly, but this is what clinched the deal in the eyes of the judges. A perfect landing.
Tonight at 10 on the SEC ESPN Network, join our network analysts as they discuss all the SEC news of the day on SEC Now. It's also streaming live on the ESPN app. All right, Alabama will go to the floor, and our host, Florida Gators, will be on the beam. There's Lauren Beers. Let's see what she can do for the Crimson Tide on floor when we come back to Gainesville. O-Dome. Florida goes to the beam. You see their lineup there. Kennedy Baker ready to go. Florida has a lead in this competition at the halfway point of .45, so just under a half a point. But guess what the penalty is for a fall? A half a point. So beam is always a critical event, and we will see if the home team in front of an adoring and huge crowd tonight here in the O-Dome can deliver.
I like to describe balance beam as very fickle. You really have to trust your training. It's an interesting way to fulfill that requirement of a full turn, a little more difficulty with that wolf turn. Florida warmed up so well on this event. Of course, it's always easier when competing at home. A lot of support here in the O-Dome. But it's also a lot of pressure.
In the lineup for being 2 freshmen, 3 sophomore, and only 1 senior. So even though they're one of the top teams in the country, a rather young lineup for the Gators here.
New dismount sequence, aerial cartwheel to a full twist. A beautiful first routine for Florida. Very solid. Very aggressive, exactly the kind of form you want to see. And the attitude was there, just very aggressive, very calm.
One of the best events for Alabama happens to be the floor. Here's the lineup that Coach Dana Duckworth is going with tonight. She is always manipulating her lineup and taking people in and out either to rest their bodies or to deal with injuries. She has a couple of gymnasts on the sidelines tonight. But Aja Sims, the junior out of Orlando, did her club training at Brandy Johnson's Global Gymnastics, will get the leadoff role on floor.
And this is a very fun, energetic routine. Had the best meet of the season this past weekend. What's nice about this team is they know how to perform at an away meet as well. They pretend it's their audience. They don't have the same support here, but they perform as if they're on their feet cheering all the way.
I mentioned a couple of gymnasts on the sidelines. Amanda Jeter, resting ankles, and Carly Sims had a minor ankle surgery this week to take out some bone chips, so they expect to have her, both of them in fact, back in the lineup later in the season.
So far, this has been a really clean routine. Great leaps and jumps, nice tumbling passes, and the landings have been solid. A little bit off on that last landing, but a minor deduction. Very well done. Nice start for Alabama.
Go back to the beam now for Florida. Kennedy Baker, she led them off with a season-high 9.875. This is our first look tonight as Peyton Ernst, the freshman from Coppell, Texas. She did her club training at Texas Dreams under Kim Zemesco-Burdett and her husband, Chris. Of course, Kim was the former world all-around champion back in 1991 for the U.S.
Peyton showed a little bit of nerves in the last competition.
Go down to Laura.
Well, Kathy, you mentioned those nerves for Peyton, and that's one of the things that Jenny Rowland talked about. She got good experience at Auburn, but just now, right before she got up on the beam, Jenny was telling her, take some deep breaths. You know you need to breathe, and trust in your warm-up because it was really good. She said, you got this.
Already, I see a much calmer gymnast on the beam than we saw last weekend against Auburn.
Now, how much of that can you attribute to being in a home meet versus away?
I think it's more that she's a freshman, just getting used to everything, settling in to school. It's a different kind of pressure competing for the team. It's wonderful because they share that pressure, and she has done so well this weekend. A lot to be proud of there. Nice comeback. This is a gainer off the end, looks a lot of fun.
Two solid scores. And Coach Rowland happy with what she sees from her young team there. Let's go back to the floor now. Asia Sims had a 9.875, so this brings up Angelina Giancroce, the freshman as well.
She has a lovely routine, really portrays a character and unique style in this routine. Makes it a much more complete performance. With a pike double back, I know she's training a double layout, which will be a wonderful upgrade to this really pretty routine. Love the beautiful positions that she hits in this routine, and the flow, the choreography, it's really, really nice.
Coach Duckworth said they really are focusing on her landings. Her tumbling is powerful, but she needs to concentrate to have good landings.
It's what the judges look for. They want that chest up high on the landing and no steps. Good control. Very, very nice routine. This is her combination pass, the back 1.5 to front layout. Good landing on that middle pass.
You got it. Confidence, Lena. Come on, baby. Come on.
We give her teammates give her so much energy and encouragement going into that last pass, and it helps.
And none more than her coach, Dana
Absolutely.
Tucker. Erica Fassbender now on the beam for Florida. Boy, what a start over there. Their first 2 scores are season highs. Kennedy Baker had a 9.875. Peyton Ernst, a 9.925.
I really like the improvement I'm seeing from last weekend to this. A much calmer, yet aggressive approach to these routines. Oh, she needs to connect those. That's why she added another one. Good for her. Smart thinking. You have to connect 2 leaps or jumps. It's a special requirement on this event. Aerial cartwheel to a full twist. Way to think on her feet, because if you don't make that connection, you miss the special requirement. It's a 0.2 point deduction. So she was a little off on the seesaw, and she just added another jump right here in between to go right into the 3rd jump to fulfill that requirement. Good for her.
Mac Brennan will be up next on the floor. The score for Angelina Giancroce before her, a season high 9.875. So solid start for the Crimson Tide here.
That smile looked like I've got a secret. This is a very fun, personable routine. Opens with a huge Arabian right here.
Brandon, 2015, she was the regional vault champion. She was a really very highly recruited junior Olympic champion coming out of Capital Gymnastics in Austin, Texas.
She does her combination pass for her 3rd pass. One and a half twist to a front layout. A lot of the collegiate gymnasts are performing that pass. Very well done. Open with the big E pass, though. That really was the highlight of the routine. That, and of course, the personality she shows in the dance.
So 3 solid routines on the floor for Alabama and 3 solid routines on the beam for Florida. Erica Fassbender had a 9.8, and Alicia Boring. See what she can do here on the beam. Oh, good save.
Like that skill. She does a front toss, but does it from a swing. She swings her leg into it. Makes it a little bit different. Back handspring layout, step back. Oh no, I'm seeing some nerves here. She needs to settle down. She tends to hold tension in her shoulders. It's a funny thing, you need to relax, yet stay focused and in control. Doesn't want to rush this dismounts, a round of double back, very difficult. All right, not bad. A little rush through the routine, showed a little bit of nerves, and that was just getting ahead of herself. Nice dismount, though. Not many gymnasts are performing this difficulty. on the dismount, so it's nice to see. Chest was a little bit down, but considering the difficulty, it's great to see it.
Keep in mind, the lead for Florida coming into this rotation was .45. And over at the floor, Alabama doing a nice job. Mackenzie Brannon had a season high as well, 9.875. And they have 3 more routines to go, including this one. Kiana Winston, the sophomore out of Fort Worth, Texas.
And she can fly. I know she can do a double layout. We'll see if she opens with that pass. She's been training. It looks like it from the look of her teammates. Yep, she went for it.
Nice.
Pulled it out.
Currently ranked 10th in the all-around in the NCAA rankings, 13th on the uneven bars.
Nice float on that front layout into your full. Beautiful dance, really.
Another gymnast from Texas, Texas Dreams. In fact, there's so many good collegiate gymnastics competing in the NCAA and who come from Texas clubs.
Very fluid arms, fluid movement throughout this choreography. And closes with a very high tuck double back. A little stumble on the landing, but very, very nice height. So she goes for the double layout, and it worked out pretty well for her this first time out.
Finish strong, Kiana.
And finish strong she did. I think from Dana's lips to her execution, well done.
Alicia Bourne had a 9.75 after showing some nerves. Let's see what sophomore Alex McMurtry can do. So she's coming off a huge perfect 10 on the uneven bars.
This is an event where you've got to take all that excitement and adrenaline and focus it, channel it. What's remarkable about this athlete is she has a sore back, and they really have to manage it throughout the season. So her training is very limited in terms of numbers and repetition, and yet you would never know it because she's so precise, even on this event, which is all about repetition.
You see her in the warm-up, she's wearing a heating pack on her back throughout much of the warm-up.
Dismount is a round of double twist. Beautiful execution. Look at the lift off the beam, the tight, tight body on that twist.
Let's go down to Laura. She has more on Alex McMurtry.
Bart, Alex told me that this year's been completely different from her last year, freshman year. She said she was terrified often as a freshman, and they had a lot of tough road meets. If you think about it, they went to LSU, they went to Alabama. This year, LSU and Alabama coming to them, and she said she was excited coming into this one because she hadn't been in a meet in the O-Dome with another ranked team like an Alabama or an LSU. She's certainly putting on a show tonight.
Katie Bailey up now for Alabama. Score for Kiana Winston is in now. She went for that double layout and was rewarded for it. A career high 9.925.
Beautiful double Arabian, such a soft landing.
She only competed 4 times in floor exercise last season.
Coach Duckworth said she is really on the verge of greatness. I think this will be her first competition to go in the all-around, all 4 events. And that's a big change. We saw her come up just a little bit short on vault, maybe pacing herself through the long evening of competition. Very nice tumbling and a subtly sassy performance.
She had back spasms at the midpoint of last season, so she missed a lot of competitions throughout last year, but a nice job here tonight.
What's amazing is she's very powerful, excellent technique, but look how softly she lands. That's impressive.
Like a basketball player having soft hands around the rim. That's impressive. She can control those landings. All right, Bridget Sloan. She's coming after a career high from Alex McMurtry, a 9.925.
And this is one of the rare gymnasts that it's actually okay for her to try to be perfect. She's got that kind of nerve, and she will go after it.
She showed some guts last week when she modified her routine.
She missed that combination right there last weekend. Didn't fall, but missed the connection. She is determined, I can tell. She's not just performing this beam. She is striving for perfection.
After missing that connection last week, she came back and did a new connection that she hadn't done in 3 years.
Just on the spur of the moment, just added it at the end of her routine. Beautiful full turn.
Gifted, focused athlete on every level.
That's the last skill she really needs to hit, other than the dismount. And she knows she can do this.
Murtry had a 9.925, so the stage is set for a gigantic score.
Boom.
Oh,
there it is.
My.
I didn't even have to try to read her mind. I knew what she was after. It wasn't just great. I want perfect.
We've already seen one perfect 10 tonight for Alex McMurtry on the bars. Could we see another?
What a unique talent this young lady is. I think she got what she wanted.
She is unique in many ways. See her score. Oh, the place is going crazy. It's a 10 as we go to the floor.
I could have predicted that. I think I did, actually.
Lauren Beers is the final performer, and she'll have to do her routine when she can barely hear the music because this place is going crazy.
But she's going to use the energy in this arena. She knows it goes both ways. It's like this at Alabama when everybody has to come to their gym, into their house. She and Dana changed a little bit of the choreography in this routine to just bring out more of Lauren, push her out of her comfort zone, be a little sassy, flirt a little on the floor. Because Dana thinks she can be that great on this event. Beautiful control on the landing of the final pass. Very strong routine and way to handle the audience just erupting as she began her routine.
Nicely done for Lauren Beers, the final performer for Alabama. But the O-Dome is on their feet again. Let's go down to Laura. She's with Jenny Rowland now.
Thanks, Bart. Jenny, a couple of perfect 10s to talk about. We'll start with Bridget Sloan on the beam. What was your reaction to her performance?
You know, my reaction was I was so excited for her. You know what? It was a great thing just to see her carry over her training in the gym onto the competition floor. That's really how she trains on a daily basis. So it was nice to see her calm down, settle in, and just have an awesome routine.
Alex McMurtry with the perfect 10 on bars as well. How would you describe what she did?
I have to describe that that bar routine was a new bar routine this year for her. So it's got to be such a memorable experience for her as it was for the team. She learned that release skill in 2 weeks and just has been working so hard on bars to get that 10 start value, and she tamed it tonight.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
What a night here in Gainesville. We have the fourth and final rotation coming up, but here are the scores. Florida in the lead, the first 10 on balance being in the NCAA this season. Wow, what a thrill.
We're back here in Gainesville where Florida is leading Alabama. And Dana Duckworth's message this entire season for this Alabama team has been TMT, true mental toughness. It was more of the same this week as they prepared for beam competition. And she told them, look, we're the #1 beam team in the country. We need to feel that way. We need to believe that. We need to own it. And we need to compete with confidence. That's how these gymnasts are coming into this competition. They're ready to get back out on the beam. And just watching them in warm-ups just now, Dana giving a lot of thumbs up and telling them to keep breathing and stay calm, telling a lot of these girls they can do this and they've got it.
So here's the lineup for Alabama on the beam. Currently ranked 9th in the NCAA. The low score last week pulled their national rankings down quite a bit. So Keely McNear, she has often been in this leadoff role on beam. She's the junior from Madison, Mississippi.
What's interesting, Bart, is prior to becoming a head coach last year, Dana was solely responsible for this event. This is her baby. Even going back to her competitive days, she was a 2-time national champion on this event. She knows beam, she knows how to coach beam. So this is personal for her to get this team back on track so they can be the team they are and should be on balance beam.
She told her team this week that never have they won a national championship, and they've done it 6 times.
She
that
pulled
it was
that
a
out.
season without any adversity. So she doesn't mind the adversity because she thinks it just toughens them up, especially for postseason in mind.
Keely just handled being slightly off on her acro series, but she held it on. Finishes the routine with a 1.5 twist. Very good landing. Feet pretty far apart on that landing, but she didn't move.
And Florida with a lead of 0.525 will go to the fourth and final rotation. You see the lineup there, which includes 3 sophomores, 1 freshman, and 2 seniors. Currently ranked 4th in the NCAA on this event. Grace McLaughlin from Allen, Texas, did her club training at WOGA, the World Olympic Gymnastic Academy.
And the strength of this routine really is in the choreography, the dance, the performance. She doesn't have the big tumbling passes. And in terms of difficulty, she doesn't have the difficult E element that many of the top teams are opening with. So she wants to go for perfection, give nothing away, and then perform. So really watch her toe point there, losing that just a little bit in these dance moves.
It's a good point. If you don't quite have the power tumbling, you better make sure that all of the dance and precision is clean, don't you?
Solid performance.
Friday Night Heights continues tonight after our meet, with Auburn taking on Arkansas. The meet will also be streaming live on the ESPN app. There's Amanda Wellick from Arkansas getting ready over there in Fayetteville. Back to the beam now. Kenzie Brannon, the score in the leadoff role for Keely McNear was a 9.875, a season high. So a good start for the Crimson Tide, hoping to rebound from last week's disappointment on this event.
Done so far. This is what gymnastics is all about. Life, really. What life is all about. Getting back up from a disappointment. You know the nerves are there. You got to acknowledge them. Otherwise, it is an elephant in the room. And they're handling. I do see some nerves still.
Boy, how many times have we seen Alabama nail Beam at the NCAAs under enormous pressure to win the championship?
Very nice confidence on that combination. She's worked her way into a much more confident presence by the end of the balance beam routine, but it really has to be from start to finish. She handled it though, 1.5 twist. This is when she really started showing a more confident approach, a little bit more aggressive, connecting those two nicely. And you can see the relief on her face. Good for her.
Back to the floor now. Erica Fassbender, the sophomore from Katy, Texas. You see that she had a 9.075 in the first meet, but she came back stronger in the following meets. She was out of bounds in the second meet this year, so they're trying to minimize some of the mistakes that have cost her early in the season. 9.8 was the score for Grace McLaughlin in the leadoff role.
She'll open with a 2.5 twist to a punch front. It's a lot of pass to get in on the diagonal, not go out of bounds, control the blind landing. Oh, went out of bounds. Tenth of a point, the deduction for the step out of bounds. She had a good control on the landing, so at least she won't get a further deduction, but it's an automatic 10th going out. They'll also deduct just a little bit there, and she lifted her front foot out of that tumbling pass. Florida's music selection and the choreography. Oh, too bad. Look, very nice performance. It's too bad she went out of bounds because it wasn't a bad pass. Very nice level of difficulty. It's just a lot of pass. She might even consider taking a step out of the run into it because it travels so far back on this 2.5 twist. And then the front continues to travel. She opened up nicely, but unfortunately, she's over the line.
The gymnasts are allowed to use that additional 4-inch mat in there for landings to save their ankles. There's no deduction, but they do have to put tape marks on the mat to indicate the out-of-bounds area. Asia Sims now, the junior out of Orlando, did her club training at Brandy Johnson's Global Gymnastics. 9.8 was the score for Mackenzie Brannon, a career high.
She has come up huge for Alabama on this event. Look at that gorgeous jump. She is really the standard when it comes to the leaps and the position she shows in the air. And she performs on this event as well. And she showed last week she has ice water in her veins because she handled the pressure so incredibly well.
In the middle of that meltdown from Alabama at Arkansas last week, Asia Sims is rock solid with her 9.95.
Well, she is gold on this event for them for all kinds of reasons. It's a nice routine. She throws great difficulty here on the dismount. Double back. Look at that. Nailed the landing. Good for her.
Wow.
As impressive as the dismount is, I just salivate when she does her leaps and jumps. It's so nice to see someone show the form in the air that the judges need to see. Look at the gorgeous split, the amplitude, just beyond split on that second one.
We've seen her do what they call the little guy routine in the past, but this is
the big guy.
And this is what Dana says is big girl gymnastics, when you do a double back at the end and you drill it like that. Nice job. Erica Fassbender and 9.85. By the way, the judges reviewed that. There is no out-of-bounds deduction, so she gets a career high on the floor as we take a look at Alicia Bourne.
Her teammates are so happy to see her lighten up, smile on this event, have some fun. That was a hard thing to teach these freshmen. Coming out of elite gymnastics, you're supposed to enjoy it, have fun, and show off.
Might remember she had a 9.75. She was a little shaky on beam in the last rotation.
Get into her little serious mode here. There comes a smile. Watch the power on this pass. Very nice. 1.5 twist through their front layout. Little stumble on the landing. Beautiful height on her final pass. Just a little off balance, not really a step.
And of course, she finishes with the traditional gator chomp, choreographed into every floor routine here at Florida. Great way to finish up for Alicia Bourne, the young freshman superstar. 3 of the top 6 all-arounders in the country compete for this Florida Gators team. Lauren Beers set to go now. Asia Sims, get this, a 9.975. So she was rewarded for going for that extremely difficult dismount and doing it well.
And I know Coach Duckworth is so nervous for this athlete, not because she does not believe in her and her ability and her training and preparation, but she faltered last weekend. It's not an easy thing to do, to get back up on this event of all. She handled that. She was slightly back, leaning back on the landing on that side somersault.
Cool character.
Very cool.
Remember last week, 3 falls. This week already 2 career highs and 1 season high in the first 3 athletes. So Alabama doing great here.
I can really see the process happening here, confidence building. This is exactly what this athlete needed to do. At first, she was not in the lineup, but through the course of warm-ups, they made the decision for her to compete here, and it was a good one.
Well, they originally had Kiana Winston in this spot. Coach Duckworth is well known for that, for adjusting the lineup, because she said we need to be ready for any scenario, an injury or whatever it is, especially at the championship season.
Be the team that can adjust. Be like Gumby. That's what she said.
Oh my goodness!
There must be a special spot on that mat right there. It's got some glue or something.
It looks
when
like,
they land there,
it looked to me like she wanted to take a step, but she couldn't.
No.
What a confidence booster for her.
And that was a heartfelt hug from Coach. She wanted this for this athlete. She needed this, and she got it.
Let's go down to Laura.
Bart, right before that routine, Dana Duckworth said to Lauren Beers, I know you can do this. And Lauren said, I know I can too. When she was up there on the beam before almost everything, she would say to herself, I won't miss this. She also told me she's competing this year for her team. A lot of eye contact with the team throughout that routine.
Thank you, Laura. Bridget Sloan now. And Alicia Bourne, a 9.925 for her, a season high.
New pass for Bridget Sloan, 1.5 twist to 2.5 twist.
She's already thrilled us with a 10 on the balance beam. And this is an event where she just lights up the place.
She puts on a clinic on how to perform. Everything is done with purpose, with energy. She does a double pike in the middle pass this year. This is someone who absolutely loves to perform. She lives for this, and you can see it. And then she can turn on the focus to come out with great execution. Fantastic routine.
Wow!
So nice to see her, and this was her choice. She went to Jenny and said, I want to do this pass. I used to do it 3 years ago. Very nice height on this pike, double back, beautiful form in the air. She is not giving the judges any reason to pick up that pen and take a mark or a deduction. Just perform the heck out of that routine.
Katie Bailey now for Alabama on the beam. The score, by the way, for Lauren Beers before her, a 9.95, a career high. So not only an important score for her team, but an important score for her personally after a disappointment last week.
And I tell you what, you hear this crowd erupt like that. This is such good practice for these athletes when they go into SEC championships and NCAAs, when they're running 4 events at a time. The place gets loud. You have got to be able to handle and not be distracted by the noise. Gymnasts call it stay in your bubble. Don't let this outward stuff affect your performance or your focus. Katie's doing a great job here. Showing such poise. From start to finish. Very solid routine. Nice landing on a double twist. Well done.
Even though there's a lot of home crowd enthusiasm for Florida, Alabama's doing a great job on beam. Let's go down to Laura. She has more on Kennedy Baker coming up for Florida next.
Bart, Jenny Rowland says she's never seen someone tumble as high as Kennedy Baker, and Kennedy said she didn't know how high she is until she watches it back. She said she also, when she's in the air, feels like she's flying, but watch, on her 3rd pass, she'll be spotting her coach because she wants to make sure she doesn't go too hard. She'll spot the coach, and that'll help her stay under control and know when to open out.
What a luxury. You know, when I was a gymnast, tumbling too high was not my problem. How about you, KJ?
No comment.
Look at the scores for the home team. 9.925 for Bridget Sloan after Alicia Bourne and Erica Fassbender have highs. Okay. Let's see if she can show us some thrilling tumbling and not land in the 3rd row.
I really have not seen a gymnast perform this skill the way she does. It's so high. But not only that, the position she rotates in is an open pike. It is almost laid out. That's almost impossible to do.
You know, this fall she had a stress reaction in her ankle, which limited some of her training. Hard to believe she is so strong right now.
Here it is. Whoa! And she opened up.
They just adjusted the score for Bridget Sloan. It is now a 9.975.
A lot of concentration on her face going into this pass. Another open pike position. Her tumbling is just so beautiful. It looks easy.
I love what Coach Rowland says. She said she looks all serious, but actually she's totally opposite of that. She loves to dance and perform, and what a night. Nearly 9,000 people in the O-Dome to see a thrilling night, which includes 2 perfect 10s, and we're not done.
And they've gotten quite a show from both teams. Beautiful amplitude on the final pass. She just floats everything. I think she has got wings. I mean, she really did just put on a tumbling clinic. She does this skill with such ease, such beautiful open pike, and then opens out of it further for the landing. She just keeps going up and up and up, and then floats this final pass. Perfect form in the air. Adds the split jump at the end, just as a bonus exclamation point.
Oh, wait! On top of that, it's another 10 here for Florida. Wow! This place is going crazy, and Nikki Guerrero has to go on beam for Alabama. They've had 2 season highs and 3 career highs on this event so far for the Crimson Tide.
Watch this triple series pass, back handspring into 2 layouts. Good for her to handle the noise in this arena and stay focused and concentrate on a very difficult series. This is exactly what a coach wants for their athletes. Both teams, they have been on different missions. They're accomplishing what they've set out to do in this competition. Sure, they both wanted to win, but Alabama needed to secure itself again in its confidence on this event, and they're doing just that.
They did a really nice job under an intense situation here. They showed that fierceness that Coach Duckworth was looking for, but all eyes are on the home team tonight.
Truly a night to remember for these Florida Gators.
Kennedy Baker's 10.0 on floor clinches the meet for Florida. So this is icing on the cake. Bridget Caquado, the senior out of Naperville, Illinois, will get to shine. 8,867 people here.
And hopefully she can use this extra energy on this pass. She hasn't quite hit it perfectly all season long. See if she can do it here. Front double twist, punch, front, good for her. It's the best she's done it all season. She's finally getting back to her stronger self. She was sick early in the season with a flu bug. Had to swing her arms a little bit on that split jump to maintain her balance. Last pass, pike double back. Let's see if she's got enough juice here. And And that's the best she's done that all season long. She had to step back out of it, but much more energy, getting back in top shape.
We're back in the O-Dome. What a thrilling night of collegiate gymnastics. We had big expectations, and what a thriller. Florida with the highest score in the NCAA this season, a 198-175. Alabama did a fabulous job as well. Kathy, your final thoughts?
This was unbelievable. I mean, my seat was vibrating with the energy in this arena. What a night to remember for the Florida Gators. And Alabama accomplished hugely over on the balance beam. It was win-win for both teams.
Well done, and 3 perfect 10s. What a thriller tonight from Gainesville. Coming up next, more women's gymnastics as Auburn takes on Arkansas. For Laura Rutledge, Kathy Johnson-Clark, and our entire crew, I'm Bart Connor. So long from Gainesville. Now let's send you out to Fayetteville. Melissa Lee, Courtney Kupets-Carter, and Casey Smith take it away.